Good morning, everyone. It is time for Wednesday's Lunch with Lori, and today we are going to be focusing on birthday cards. I'm excited to be here. I am bound and determined that I'm going to get through or get to Lunch with Lori every week on Wednesday. Originally, my date was Mondays, and I needed to change that to Wednesday. There's some school holidays and some craziness in life on Mondays. So Wednesdays, middle of the week, is when I plan to go live. So 11:30 Central Time, Lunch with Lori, and each week we will have a different class theme, different bundle featured, various different things. So if you have any requests, be sure to let me know that. And we'll see if we can do a class for you. Give me 1 second to get my laptop straightened out. I have to turn the volume off, and that's all right. All right, here we go. Today I'm going to make 3 cards for you. And as always, class is free to watch unless you would like to get the card kits in the mail, and then for a $35 purchase on my website, you can get the class kits. So today we're going to make birthday. And recently I did a class with the Marion Bright Suite. And if you haven't seen the Marion Bright paper, it is my favorite new paper from the holiday catalog. But if you look at one side, there's Christmas trees. But if you flip it over and look at the back side, there's these great stripes that you can use for any occasion. And today we're going to use those for birthday. These polka dots are also fabulous for birthdays and not just Christmas. I have never sent a pink and yellow and red Christmas card, but maybe this is the year for that. I'm not sure. And on the back side of that one is Christmas cards also, or Christmas trees, sorry. This polka dot is also super all the fun rainbow of colors, and I have used it on a Christmas card, but I also like it for birthday. So this paper is definitely multi-purpose. So we're going to use it today for birthday paper. All right, so I'm going to start with, and I did one piece of this already because I have trust issues. If you come to my I can't talk today. In-person classes, not live, I tell my ladies I have trust issues. So when they were here, I actually stamped the Let's Party from the Year to Celebrate stamp set. I stamped that on their little piece before they got here because I don't trust them to use Pool Party and Blueberry Bushel. And if you're one of my ladies watching this, just know that I say that with the utmost love. That I just don't trust you. But if you're doing this at home, you can absolutely stamp that and use your own ink, and I won't be nearly as nervous. But this stamp set has a Happy New Year, but it has congrats and also a happy birthday to you. And I wanted to focus on some of the stamp sets in the new catalog, mini catalog, that are also not just Christmas. So I'm going to be using that today. And my first thing, fold my cardstock in half. All right. And then I have my DSP. I have a little blue strip to go down the side. It doesn't have to show too much, but I cut these wide enough so that the adhesive, the tape runner, would work for that. And I may have done this backwards. Oh, good. All right, so I'm just going to put that together like that, just so that there's a small blue line. And then I'm going to glue this whole piece onto the Pool Party panel for the front of the card. And then I cut the stripe paper just a little long because it makes me nervous to have it too short. I'd rather have it just a smidge long, so I'm going to have to trim that off just a smidge so that everything lines up. Okay, my paper snips. kind of a cloudy day here, so I hope that the light is enough that they're on my projects. If it's not, please say something and I will. All right, I should have gone a little farther. It was actually not my DSP, it was my blue strip. So we'll just make everything even. All right, where did those? All right, so we have this panel. We're gonna go ahead actually and put this on the front of the card. Because there's no stamping involved, and my rule is always there's two sides to every piece of paper until you glue it down, and then you're stuck with one. So we have our card base. I need to take my Band-Aid off. I washed my hands right before this, and my Band-Aid is a little bit wet. It's making wet marks on my card. All right, so then this part is actually done as well, since it's already stamped. So we're gonna go ahead and put these panels together. And I'm just going to go ahead and put adhesive on both of these. So I'm going to put the white panel onto the Granny Apple Green. This is the easy part. And then the Granny Apple Green onto the Blueberry Bushel panel. All right, so we have that. I'm going to trim that just a little bit. All right, so we have that. I'm gonna go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of that because I like to pop things up. All right, so that panel goes back together. Excuse me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on here. Now, the next thing I need to do is stamp the party horn. So I'm going to do that, and unfortunately we don't have dies for that, so I'm going to have to fancy cut it for you, which could be scary, so I'm going to try. I don't have a pad underneath my piece, so hopefully this works well enough. If you're using a photopolymer stamp, a lot of times it is easier to get a good image if it has a little bit of give underneath. And a lot of times I'll use an old catalog. Let me grab one of those. And I just slide my catalog, just an old catalog from whatever year. And I always try to write retired on there so my ladies don't think they can shop from those. All right, so that little bit of give and not the hard table helps with the image and when we stamp it. So I'm going to stamp the confetti horn in Granny Apple Green, and I can go right along the edge because you're just going to cut that out with your snips. Okay. And then the mouthpiece is actually Pool Party, so we'll go ahead and stamp that. And you can see it is a little bit angled. So the fatter end of the stamp actually goes closer to the horn. And I went to, my party horn is not going to be quite as long as my sample. But that's one less side I have to cut. So then we're going to cut right along the outside edge. I left a white margin around the outside. You don't have to if you prefer to have it cut right up against the edge. You can just cut right along the edge of the green or the Pool Party. And when you're doing circles or anything small or detailed, it's usually easier not to move your scissors, and it's easier to move the paper as you go around. I'm not sure why that is, but for me, I got that tip years ago and it really does seem to help. And then this is just a straight line. All right, so then you have your party horn, and he's gonna go just right across there on dimensionals. My dimensionals are the big ones, so I may have to cut one in half just so it'll fit. don't forget to use these edge pieces. Those are perfectly good and able to be used. There we go. Once I had someone come to me and tell me that they were out of dimensionals and they had all of the outside pieces. And I said, oh, no, you have plenty there. All right, so we'll put our party horn on the front. If you would like to bling it up a little bit, I have the Tinsel Gems 4-pack here. My original sample, I used the yellow, but the yellow is actually all out. And there's one blue, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the green ones. And you can put those really wherever you'd like. If you don't have these kind of gems, if you have, let's see. Let's go here. If you have regular rhinestones, you can color your rhinestones any color that you want. So if you have Stampin' Blends, that makes it super easy to color rhinestones or pearls to have embellishments of whatever color that you would like. And then last piece, I'm going to stamp the inside because one of the words in the stamp set is the happy birthday to you. Get that. Hopefully I'm at an angle here, so hopefully I got it straight enough. Blueberry Bushel is one of my favorite colors. I was so glad that it came back. Our boys' high school, their school colors are royal blue and yellow, and so at our house we called that color Bomber Blue, and so when Bomber Blue came back, we were super happy about that. All right, and then the white panel goes on the inside, and if you don't have the white panel, it's really hard to see on that blue if you were to write on it. So there's card number 1. All right, card number 2 uses one of the new embossing folders that's in the catalog. It's called Cheery Patterns. It's a 2-pack. One is circles. Let me see if you can see the circles on there. There's the circles. And then the other one is a wavy pattern, which also looked very good with this particular card. I had someone use the wavy one on Thursday. But I've already run the embossing folder through, so I'm going to put those together. Sometimes it's much easier to just get this done beforehand so you don't have to watch me do the little tedious things like run an embossing folder or things like that. And that way I don't have to shake my table or anything. All right, so the embossing folder. Actually, you can use this embossing folder either way. It stands up on this side so you can actually feel the texture, and on the back side it's, I believe that's called debossed when it goes downward. You could use either side, but I'm going to use my adhesive on the side that goes down. And I think my adhesive, this particular adhesive, is almost empty, so hopefully it lasts for me. I have an extra one here, but hopefully it lasts. Excuse me. All right, so we're just going to put that right across the middle of our blueberry. Actually, this one is Starry Sky. I used the two of the 2022 in colors. I used the Tahitian Tide and the Starry Sky, and I really like those together. All right, then we're going to use this Circle Saying stamp set, which is a bundle in the new annual catalog, and it has various occasions. Excuse me. Today we're going to use the Celebrate around the edge with the cupcake. So we're going to stamp our cupcake first. I've kind of a mess going on here right now. All right, so we're going to stamp Celebrate. With this particular stamp set, you could actually punch out the circle first if you wanted, because the stamp is photopolymer and you can actually see. but I'm gonna just stamp it and then punch it for you. Okay, so we've got our Celebrate. I'm gonna stamp the cupcake in Starry Sky. How is everybody today? Is there anything exciting going on in your world? It is October. I got my fall decorations with my straw bales and my pumpkins and mums on my porch last night, so that was very exciting at our house. All right, so we have our Celebrate and our cupcake. My husband has had his Halloween tree. He has 2 Halloween trees. He's had those up actually for probably 3 weeks. So we are living on the edge. All right, so then we'll punch out our Celebrate. And we will attach that. I cut 3 small pieces of the In Color ribbon. The 2022 to 24 In Colors each have a sparkly metallic woven ribbon that matches. And so this is the Tahitian tie. I didn't want to tie a bow because boys don't necessarily like bows. So what I'm going to do is I just cut 3 small pieces. I'm going to kind of fan those together like this, like that, and then I'm going to tape them on the back so that they stick out like that, like a little banner. And I'm going to use Scotch tape for that. My roll of this is about empty too. I need to restock all my supplies. And put that right on the back. And then you can trim those accordingly after you get them on the card and you see how long they are. Touch those. All right. Out of this particular In Color family, these are my 2 favorites. Although I'm always a fan of brights, so really all of them are fine. Close my ink pad so you don't see me make a big mess. Small messes are okay today. All right, then we're going to put our panel on the front of the card. And if you would like, ta-da! If you would like to stamp Happy Birthday on the inside of your white panel, I'm not going to do that for you right now, but for my class the other night, we used the same Happy Birthday to You stamp set. So I'll put that aside. So there's card number 2. Then the last one, I'm going to switch from cute and fun to a little more elegant, which if you know me is, we're going to use the tartan plaid, the tartan foil paper for this one, along with another new stamp set that's in the catalog called Curved Occasions. And this one also comes with a punch. I don't have the punch out here because we're not going to use that today, but it has a curved punch so the Happy Birthday or Thanks a Million fits in there. And if you've been around for a while and you years ago used a penny to make a mover card, you could do that with this, and I'm looking forward to trying that. But for today, we're just going to use the cake stamp set, or the cake stamp out of the set. All right. The tartan foil paper is truly one of my favorites. It really is. So I have the card base. It's already cut and scored. Like I said last time, it's easier to fold a long card base if it's scored. So I have that scored already. And then for my plaid, for the tartan plaid, I just cut a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of the paper. But to get it to flip, I don't want to waste the paper. I'm going to cut that at 2 inches. So I'm going to cut it just like that. One simple cut. And then we're going to take our card front and we're going to glue the more solid piece at the top, and then we're going to flip the bottom piece and glue it right underneath that. So we have 2 different patterns. Whereas our middle son used to say when he was small, it was a pattern. Everything had a pattern. And so if I accidentally say that, you'll know that I'm just reliving one of my boys' childhoods. A fun little memory. All right, so there's the top and then the bottom. Just put that right up against the edge. And if you overlap it just a little bit, that's okay, because there's going to be this line, and we don't necessarily want that line to show. So we're going to take another piece of gray granite cardstock and just put it across there. If you have the gray granite, oh my goodness, I'm telling total lies. This is not gray granite, it is Pebbled Path. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, please forgive me. We have Pebbled Path. It's just a 1/2 inch strip that was a leftover strip. Put that across there, and that's it for the front. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the words, and I just pulled a happy birthday from a different set. It's called The Very Best Occasions, and it just is a simple happy birthday. That one's a little crooked, so maybe I'll go with it. It'll be fine, right? All right. Hey, Kathy. Thanks for watching my chaos. Okay, maybe I should call this class Chaos with Lori. All right, the last piece that we're gonna do is we have to stamp the cake. I'm gonna stamp the cake in the Pebbled Path ink. And we're gonna punch it out with a 2-inch circle. So I'm just gonna stamp it in the middle. And then I'm gonna color the flowers. Since I used gray granite and I used Pebbled Path. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. I'm just gonna color very lightly one of the flowers with the petal pink marker, and one with the Flirty Flamingo. And then Garden Green for the leaves. Just so there's a little bit of color on the front of your card, because it's kind of a monotone type card. All right, and that is it for that. And then we're just gonna punch it out with the 2-inch punch. I was so glad they brought the circle punches back. Hopefully they bring back some more sizes. Then we're gonna glue this onto the vellum. Let me see if you can see this. The vellum decorative circle that I already punched out. Just gonna glue that right on there. And put dimensionals on the back so that it stands up a little bit. I would just definitely put dimensionals under this if this piece were the ribbon, because that way the bulk doesn't cause the adhesive to pop up. But I just like to pop things up. All right. And then that sits there. And I do not have my embellishments here. I found these embellishments in my stash, and I hadn't used them yet, and they are the flat adhesive backed pearls, and they are so pretty. So they've become my new favorite. There it is. They're varying sizes. They're small, medium, and large. And I'm going to use those for my card. Although I think I'm not going to use the big ones. I think I'm just going to go small. Don't get hung up on where you're putting your embellishments. Just odd numbers, and wherever you put them is okay. Let's see. And there you have it. You get your cake with your pearls. Super simple. I let the designer series paper do the work. This one, the Cheerful Patterns embossing folder, is the star of the show with the circles. I'm always a sucker for polka dot stripes or dots, so that one speaks my language. And then the last one was the Let's Party, and that's just a little bit more difficult just because it's a fancy cut party horn. So thank you for joining me today. If you have a request for next time, if you're watching this now or if you're watching on replay, let me know if you have a request for a particular bundle or a particular kind of card, and we'll see what we can do for you. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you next week. Thanks.